as the other senators were speaking, I was thinking about my own life experience in poverty. My mother was 22 years dead last Wednesday due to pneumonia. Bad living conditions. Remember growing up in a halting site in a 3-bedroom house where 5 of us used to sleep in the one room, where she'd light a candle. And I remember one time a producer saying to me in RTE, "Were you ever cold?" No, never ever cold. Always warm, had plenty of love, but we were very poor. We do the markets, we didn't know we were poor, obviously, you know, because we had so much love with the candle every single night she'd light it. And just, you know, thinking of her, thinking what she did for 9 of us, what my father did for 9 of us, living, born and reared in a halting site. Lynn brought it back for me earlier. The likes of me and Lynn are so lucky to be here, but that doesn't mean our communities are out of poverty. That doesn't mean that I was thinking of that song, "Love is all around us everywhere we go." For me and for Lynn, poverty is all around us. We see it, we lived it, we breathed it. And I'd like to thank Lynn and her team, Robert and the rest of her team, for bringing this motion forward today. Since 2009, the Combat Poverty Agency, again through the recession, we were cut 80% of our education cuts, the traveller community, working class people were cut, these organisations that worked for our community were cut. We got rid of that, we got rid of the Combat Poverty Agency. I know, Minister, and I'm so fond of you, you know, and I do think your heart's in the right place, and I understand you're saying that it's in the social inclusion. But what we're asking for as people who live and breed, who did live and breed it, obviously we've moved on as 2 individuals, but our communities are still there. You know, our communities are still there. I go into Labrie Park, I see it on a daily basis. I see it within my own community. I see money lenders, I see people getting themselves into debt. When in 2015 I met this incredible individual who was 10 years homeless and who was on drugs, right? 10 years. Imagine being 10 years homeless, being on drugs on the streets of Dublin City. That person today has their own apartment. You can turn your life around with the right support, and it's up to this government. Lynn spoke about it, the one-off social welfare fees. I understand that we think the budget is brilliant, it's going to help people. It's going to play vandalites for an extra week for people. That there is the harsh reality of it, and I don't want to be seen to be against all of the time, but that's it. Then people with addictions as well, people paying off debts. Some people, you don't know what's going on in some families' households. I personally do. I know people at present who own drug debts, who own money laundering, who own people money, you know, and I see it in the communities that I engage with, the communities I live with, and I know poverty is so real, and we need to get down to earth with poverty is in our country today, and it's up to you, Minister, it's up to the department to change that, and you have the power to support Senator Lynn Yuan's motion by setting up the standalone independent agency that will hold the government to account, and that we can future-proof our generations, that we won't have people struggling to get into politics. We won't have people struggling for jobs. Talk about employment gone through the roof. We're great unemployment. How comes there's 86% of my community unemployed? What is it, Senator? We don't matter, do we not? Do we not want to work? Do we not want to earn a living? Do we not want to go to school? Do we not want to do that? We're not included in these conversations. Enough is enough. Senator Lynn Yuan's motions are just so real. We've had them before. We're asking to set them back up to save people's lives, because with the standalone agency, it's holding the government to account, and that's what we want to do. We want to make people's lives better, Minister. And by supporting this motion, that's what we can do. We can do it together, you know. And just again, like we'd like to think that poverty doesn't exist. We seem to tear like people being on drugs, the traveller community, the mental health crisis within our community. That comes from poverty, Minister. If we like it or don't like it, if we can deal with poverty, if we can support people, give them a hand up, not even a hand out, a hand up out of poverty. And we need all communities to get out of poverty. And this is one step. It's only a step, but it's a step in the right direction. And it's very disheartening because, again, I am very fond of you. It's very disheartening to see that we're patting ourselves in the back and saying we're doing a great job for these people, for the Dems and the Days and for yous over there, the others, you know. But in reality, Minister, we're not. Because in the Days world, you know, we have more addiction than we ever had in the Days society. We've got people living who with disabilities that have little or no supports. So I'm begging of you, Minister, please. Like every single night of my life, I'll ring my husband and say to him, please mind Lacey. My little girl is not 2 until next September, and that's when I know that I can move on, that I don't have to worry about cot death. Just in the last 2 days in my community, I've heard of 3 cot deaths. Sick of hearing of cot deaths and suicide due to nothing else to poverty. Again, my mother dying at the age of 48. I'm 22 years without my mother, all because of living conditions, the way that we have to live just because we're members of the traveller community. It's unfair and it's unjust. And again, this is only a step. And it's scandalous in 2022 Ireland that we're here speaking about putting in better measures for poverty, to get people out of poverty in the Days world. Thank you.
Very much.